Hello. So I wanted to do a video about the weekly reading responses. Those will start next week, and each student has a turn-in day assigned to them. So whenever their turn-in day, say for example their turn-in day is Tuesday. On Tuesday they would turn in their reading response for that week. I would grade it Tuesday night, and Wednesday it would be returned to them with a grade on it. At that point they would begin reading, taking notes, getting ready to write their next response, which would be due the following Tuesday. So the following Tuesday they would turn in their second reading response. It would be returned to them graded on Wednesday, and they would then begin reading, taking notes, and eventually working on their third reading response, which would be due the following Tuesday. So I kind of wrote this out hoping that it might help make the process a little more clear. Okay, so the reading response is kind of in two parts. So in class, they are reading and taking notes. That could be on a nonfiction book. It could be on a fiction book like this. So when I say reading and taking notes, I just mean reading and writing down their reading thinking. So for nonfiction, or for any, it could look like this. It could be them making a chart and putting down text evidence and reading thinking. It could be we did some work on character roles, which is more related to fiction. So they could take their notes either in their reading notebook. They could also take their notes on the back of their checklist. So this would stay inside their book as a bookmark, and then whenever they were reading, they would just pull it out and they could jot down their reading thinking on this. So they read, they take notes for a day, 2 days, depending on how quickly they read. And then they would begin working on their response. Now the response, when they write it, they use their notes. The response is 3 paragraphs long, and they should attach a response checklist to their completed response before turning it in. This is a response checklist. They have practiced using this, and it outlines all the components of the first paragraph. The first paragraph is intended for me to see what they're reading and how they summarize, where they're at on the skill of summarizing. The second paragraph is about reading thinking. So they tell me what strategy they're working on. That would be a reading strategy. Then they would tell me what page number they use their reading strategy on, give me some text evidence, a quote from the book related to the strategy, and then tell me their thinking. That could be something like, how did this help you? What do you now understand? What do you realize? And finally, the third paragraph is the goal paragraph. This is where they tell me what their goal was, what they were working on. So I was working on cause and effect. They tell me, did they meet their goal? How do they know whether or not they met it? Are they going to keep that goal, or are they going to change to a different goal? And finally, how are they going to track it or prove that they were working on that goal? Are they going to be tracking it on their bookmark? Are they going to be tracking it in their notebook? So just to summarize everything, so say for a student whose response is due next Tuesday. Today's Tuesday. So today, tomorrow, perhaps they would be reading and taking notes in either a fiction or a nonfiction book, depending on what they are going to do their response on. Say the student's going to do the response on the fiction chapter book they're reading. So for the next 2 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, they would be reading and taking notes on the back of their checklist or taking notes on a page in their notebook. On, say, Thursday, for example, they've got reading notes taken, they've read a couple chapters, they're ready to write the response. They're going to use the notes that they took on their thinking for the book to help them write the 3-paragraph response. Once they're finished with it, they're going to edit it. So they might work on this response during class Thursday and Friday and Monday for all 3 paragraphs. By next Tuesday, they should be ready to edit it for any grammatical or mechanical errors and turn it in at the end of class Tuesday, because Tuesday is their turn-in day. I hope this is helpful. Let me know if you have any questions.